All right, Tim Charron here with Rockstarter.com. I am here with Florida Georgia Line drummer Sean Fuller. Sean, how's it going today?
Doing great, Tim. How you doing?
Excellent, excellent. So just to jump right into it, Sean and I were just talking about a bunch of different things before we started recording about some of his input as to the state of the music business, and if you're a musician or an artist, trying to make your way, especially in Nashville. Sean is definitely has a lot of input on that. So we were just talking about the way, Sean, the way you came up and where you're from and how you kind of got going in the industry.
Yeah, originally from Evansville, Indiana, and moved to Nashville in 1997. And I was telling Tim here that obviously the music business was a lot different then than it is now in 2016, and I'm sure it's changed over 4 or 5 or 6 different times. Musically speaking, as to living here in Nashville and getting seen and getting heard, and being a musician that gets to get picked to go out on the road with some of these artists and whatnot. It's changed differently. I mean, when I moved to Nashville, I was, I figured it out kind of quickly that being just a good drummer wasn't enough. You had to separate yourself. And for me, I mean, I grew up being a rock guy anyway, so not that I did it on purpose. It was just one of those things that, like, with the tattoos, and at the time I had a mohawk, and I was playing down on
Awesome.
Broadway with nothing on, like a kilt basically, and some kind of ripped up old punk T-shirt or whatever. But it kind of got me noticed in the realm of all the guys that were playing down there. Everybody was like, "Oh, have you seen the Mohawk drummer play?" Or what? The guy that wears the kilt or whatever. Crazy stuff. Just it is, But again, like, you know, and
Just
I
just
think
to
that
just to jump in real quick, I think you should bring the kilt
yeah,
back for a couple shows. I would vote for that.
I could possibly do that, but if I did that, I'd have to go full Scottish, and you all know what that means. So we'll leave that where it lies.
Yeah.
But I have to say that again, like the way I got noticed or picked up, if you will, or whatever, man, a lot of it is still same today, which is a friend of a friend knows a friend of a friend kind of thing, and it's the buddy
Yep.
system, and that kind of deal. I was just discussing this with a good friend of mine, Neoshi Jackson, about this exact same thing. But it's very true. I mean, you have to come to Nashville with talent, absolutely. Like, you have to have talent, but that's not going to be enough. Like, you have to, in this day and age, have something else to offer besides just being, either a really good drummer or a good drummer or a good musician, a good, guitar player, bass player. They're a dime a dozen, and I still pinch myself wondering how it is that I got where I got. Noticing that there's just some really, really awesomely talented musicians that I see in Nashville, and they're very deserving of a shot with an artist as well. But I first things first. I mean, I tell anybody that's going to try to do something in music is that you have to be present to win. It's just like anything else. You got to be here. You got to be diving into the culture of Nashville and what it is, and making friends. It's the card and the handshake. It's getting up on writers' nights or players' nights and playing and doing a really good job so that people know that you're a good player. A lot of the touring musicians will go. They'll do their tours when it gets around fall time. They're not touring so much, so they'll still go down on Broadway or West End or anything like that, and still play for other
Yeah, I
folks.
was gonna say, I have a good friend of mine who played bass for me in when I would go and tour to New England, and he just moved to Nashville. Great guy, great bass player, great backing vocalist. His name is BJ Knights, super awesome guy. Um, and I was trying to help him and tell him, you've just got to get out there. You've got to get out there. You've got to be out on the scene. And I said one of the most important things that I could give him for advice was just go support other people. And just like you were saying, how I met you was at I think a Tom Hurst drumming event with Rich
Yes,
Redman.
right.
And so, like you're saying, when you guys aren't touring, you guys are in town going and playing events, and still.
Well, yeah, you gotta
Um,
you gotta stay relevant, and you got and on people's minds, because this is very much a what have you done for me lately kind of business, and you know, not that my guys would ever do this. I mean, they may, I don't know, but not that they would ever do it. But they may wake up tomorrow and go, you know what, we want a drummer with hair.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Something simple, something ridiculous or whatever. And the next thing you know, you're looking for a gig, and the only way that you're going to stay relevant, again, this was something I was just talking about. Like there's a lot of acquaintances, for it being said to be such a tight knit community, and it's got its tight knitness there, but it's very much acquaintance oriented, that kind of thing. And people do, like when we do these little side projects in Nashville, or go around playing the drummers jam or loud jams or
Yep.
rare hair stuff like that. Like we're having fun doing it, but we're also going in, or if you're not going with this, you should have this mindset. I go into it with a mindset of, I'm going to do what Sean Fuller does and play as great as I could possibly play, and be a professional about it, because you never know who's watching you. You never know who's going to be the next act that you play for, or an artist that you play for, or the musicians that may say, "Oh wow, not that I'm available, I'm not," but like somebody could say, "Man, we really need a spontaneous kind of drummer. Hey man, Sean might be available." So keeping your name on their tongue as a good person, number one, first and foremost, have integrity
Yep.
about yourself, that kind of thing. Um, and be somebody that people can hang out with, number two, but also be a really talented person and not subject yourself to just being a bass player, guitar player, drummer, or keyboard player, or whatever. But like have other things about you that might help, whether that's knowing Pro Tools or knowing Ableton Live, or programs, things that are happening now. In the live aspect of things, if you can help with that kind of thing, that's one less thing that the artist has to worry about. So you may not be the better musician than this guy over here, but you're still a good musician, and you have more knowledge of something that they need,
Right.
and so you're going to get the gig. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And obviously, if you're a good person on top of that, easy to hang out with, that kind of thing, you can't go wrong. I mean, that's a lot of it right there. Just being a good hang and good relationships, and being a nice person and having integrity, and all that good stuff.
Yep.
Plays a huge part.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, what do you have coming up that you can tell everybody about?
Well, I'm currently in Austin, Texas. I don't know when this will be aired, but I'm here right now on a day off while the guys go do an acoustic thing that I'm not involved in, and then we stay here through tomorrow. I'll be on iHeartRadio doing some music with the guys, and then we fly back to L.A. To perform on Jimmy Kimmel Monday night. Well, actually, I'm sorry. We fly back tomorrow to do the ACCAs in L.A.
Cool.
And then I think that's in Inglewood, California. And then we do Jimmy Kimmel in L.A. on Monday night, and the Talk on Tuesday morning, and then fly back to Nashville, go directly into rehearsals for the Dig Your Roots Tour 2016, which we'll be doing, set up, tear down, all that good stuff, making sure we can get through the show. And then first show is in Tupelo, Mississippi, coming up, and we'll be spending some time there working on the show, maybe several days before the tour starts, so that we make sure everything's lined up, sounds great, kicking butt, all that good stuff, knocking on all cylinders. So.
Yeah, and when does the summer tour kick off officially?
Actually kicks off. Well, we're less than just a week and a half, 2 weeks away from that,
Awesome.
if that, in Tupelo, and we're going to have Cole Swindell out with us this year, and a Cadillac 3, or
cool.
Cadillac, So it's going to be it's going to be a real, and a couple other artists too that we'll share later on. But they're super good people, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Be a great tour to come out and check out. So I'm pretty excited about it, and and I will add this. One of the big things that's happening now, obviously throughout the music business, and I personally play a huge role in this because it's something that I love to do, and I'm 45, so keep this in mind. When I say to have integrity about yourself, that goes for all aspects of your body and everything, um, people are going to want you in shape. People are going to want you,
Yep.
not falling apart at the seams. There's, it's just like any other kind of job. You know what I'm saying? In that respect, you don't want to show up, being the class clown and the alcoholic or that kind of thing. I
Yep.
mean, like, back in the days, back in the '80s, which I'm very fond of and love, but back in the day, that was kind of to be expected, I guess. It kind of came along with the job.
Yeah.
But nowadays, it's about staying healthy and being able to give an audience that paid really good money to come see you every ounce of energy that you have, and so I'm a huge believer in that. And that's something that I never ever want to walk on stage and feel like I'm going to call one in for the night or anything like that. I think that's disrespectful, and to a crowd, it's disrespectful to your artists, and it's disrespectful to yourself too. So
Yep. I totally agree.
something to think about there.
Yeah, coming from someone who hires musicians, unfortunately or fortunately, depends on how you look at it. It is all of these things do come into play. Everything that you were saying, from your being able to hang, being a easy person to get along with, obviously being talented, but also things like your image, your
Yeah.
image on stage, and definitely not drinking or doing drugs or anything like that while you're going to be
Yeah,
performing.
and everybody's going to have. I mean, I'm not saying don't drink. I'm saying
Right.
I'm just saying within reason, know what your job is and don't let it affect your job.
Right.
So that in that respect, I'm not saying that nobody out there is having a beer or a cocktail before they go play, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying keep it within reason. Never draw a red flag to yourself. Basically, is what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. And
Your
one
job.
one thing that I
Yeah.
just wanted to jump back to, which I thought was really cool, is you talking about going out to the different events in Nashville, or whatever city you're in. But we're both Nashville people, so um, the great thing that I tell people is, if you're new to Nashville, if you've been there for a few years and you're just trying to meet more people and establish more contacts, is to go to these events where the pros are playing. Sometimes during the week, when they're not out on the weekends and stuff. There's these events all over the place. Whether you're a drummer, a guitar player, or a songwriter, singer, songwriter,
Yeah.
there are all these events all the time in Nashville. Smaller events, and go support, your
Yeah,
peers.
and it's not everything is happening down on Broadway. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
No.
that's more of the touristy thing more than
Yeah.
it is anything. But that being said, it's a good place to make some extra change if you're off the road, that kind of thing. You just want to kind of get out and grind your gears a little bit. It's a really cool place for that. I've got still quite a few friends down there that play down there and have a blast with it.
Mhm.
But for me, I would venture to get out to West End, go to some Rider Nights, go to the Bluebird, go wherever you can, to be involved, and don't be afraid to introduce yourself. I mean, if you're going in there and you're skittish, you
Yeah.
know, talk to anybody, that kind of thing, it's going to be really hard for you to maneuver yourself into this business. But if you can just be really upfront with people and let them know, who you are, you're fresh face there in town, and that kind of thing. Make those relationships, because the relationships are what's going to count more than anything. Not just now, but in the future. When something does go down, there's going to be some lean times, and you never know when that face that you met several years ago is going to come into play, and be a part of something that can financially keep you going until the next step, or vice versa. And I'll say that coming to Nashville, I mean, make sure you have two things: a B plan. You know what I'm saying? Always have a
Mhm.
B plan, and then number two, don't put a time limit on your dream. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
If you put a time limit on your dream, you're kind of forcing yourself into failure. You know what I'm saying? Like, as long as you know that you're moving forward, you're not moving backwards. Don't let grass grow under your feet, basically.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent advice, Sean. I can't thank you enough. I'm glad we finally got to get this together. I know, obviously, you're super busy, so I really appreciate it. I'm sure all of the people that are watching this are really going to appreciate all of your advice.
Oh, thank you so much, Tim. I appreciate it, and thank you guys. If y'all never need anything else, just let me know.
All right, thanks, Sean Fuller, everybody.
Thank you, guys.